Hey guys, it's Roxanne from RoxanneLynch.com. Hey, I just wanted to pop into your world. The girls and I were chatting today about the power of using stories within our businesses. And as we know from our childhood experiences, you gotta call us crazy. We were talking about this. It's like we didn't call it, facts and figure time at bedtime when we were putting our kids to bed. No, we called it story time. Because I know it's so massive, it's so huge, and there's so many women that have been in the industry for a little while. Maybe they've been around a block a few times and they don't think that they have a story. They don't think that they have anything special to share. But it is the stories that create that Me Too experience. It's that stories that connect, that create those bridges, that create those emotional bonds, so we can relate to what is going on within that woman's mind, put ourselves into her shoes, so then we can leverage ourselves forward, potentially building a new business partner, someone to take advantage of your product or your service, or even joining you in your opportunity. I mean, wouldn't that be absolutely beautiful? Because this is what I love to do. I come home, I am super stoked and still super inspired after the weekend event for empowerment and encouragement, lots of training. Oh my gosh, the environment in Vancouver, you're just osmosis into success. And I realized that there was a lot of storytelling, which really, for new members within social retail or you within your own businesses, storytelling is extremely powerful to build the relationships and friendships so you guys can grow your businesses. And this is what I love to do. Show up and shake it up a little bit, create some new thoughts, new experiences, new ways of doing business, so we can definitely, celebrate and say high five, sister, for an amazing April month end, but then also to leverage yourselves forward and have better businesses and better relationships coming into May and the rest of 2018. So let's hop into this. So the very first tip that we have to start, and we can write down and take some notes, and this is something that I do with my team. I've kind of made like a little worksheet of where to start to build your story, because storytelling isn't natural for a lot of us. In fact, a lot of times we go to share our story and women, we get it interrupted. We don't get to share our story. We have to remember that when we are listening and building relationships on Facebook or on the phone or belly to belly, we were given 2 ears and 1 mouth, which means if we listen, we actually can kind of tweak our story to satisfy and connect with that woman on even a deeper, more powerful, significant level. So by asking a few questions and doing that pre-sifting and sorting when it comes to building relationships, we can actually listen to what they're sharing, and we know how to add extra value and extra goodness to build those better connections when we're sharing our story, okay? So that is the first tip. It's kind of a prelude to tip number 1, which is you have to share your previous you, okay? You have to share the original you that kind of had an aha moment one day over and over and over and ages ago of why you began to be even open to this industry. Maybe it's your round 2, maybe it's round 3, maybe it's round 11, and you've been around the block a while. What is keeping you plugged in or inspired or wanting to give it another kick at the cat? Because I know within my social retail business, women are joining me, and it's not their first kick at the cat, but they haven't yet had success, and they're looking for something fresh, something very new, and something very disruptive online, especially when we can work at 100% from our phones, okay? So you have to share your previous background, and that's why I share, that, I worked shift work for 13 years, and I sure wish I would have had this when my babies were babies, I was a middle management corporate. My job was becoming more and more stressful and toxic because of an upper management shift, and that happens within all big industries, and my job rapidly changed, In no time at all, it felt like someone was stabbing me in the chest with knitting needles. My hair was falling out by the handfuls. I was battling depression, but it was this industry, this hope, this sisterhood, and this tribe. That's when I was feeling good. That's when I was feeling empowered and inspired, and my natural Roxanne. So that's how I really discovered that. So share your background, share what made you be open to the possibility. Maybe you were tired of working the shift work. Maybe you were looking for a little bit extra to pay the bills. Maybe you're looking for a more uplifted sisterhood and community like I was. Maybe you're tired of the glass ceiling. Maybe you don't want to work your second or third job anymore. What is your previous you and your background that said, when that opportunity come knocking the first time or the 10th or 11th time, why you're still hanging in there and have such belief within our beautiful industry and profession, okay? So that is the first tip, is share your previous you. And you know why? It's because it creates that bond and starts building those bridges of connection where women can feel your story. They can kind of put themselves into your shoes. They can even feel your pain, your problems. What was making you cry in the morning, leaving your babies, going to work? What was making you cry in the evening when you had to go to shift work and leave your babies in someone else's home and they were going to get to tuck them in, okay? So I get emotional just talking about that. But you have to be able to share those emotions and share things that are going to inspire, uplift, and empower by also sharing the beginnings and a lot of the pains and problems, trials and tribulations that made you open and hopeful for this amazing industry and business. So that is the pain points. You have to be able to tug at their hearts a little bit. They have to be able to picture and imagine and envision what was going on in your world, because we make decisions, okay? We make decisions and do things when we feel things, okay? So we have to take them on that journey, okay? That is tip number 3. Using your story can take this woman or this man along your adventure, along your trials and tribulations, of how I in the past used to be a salesy, spammy Facebook marketer that was, being blocked by your Facebook friends when family avoided me at the grocery store. I was being put in Facebook jail. My messages were not being responded. I burned through my warm market. I had no team for 8 months. Take them on your journey. Take them through all your trials and tribulations so they can say, yeah, I've been tossed in Facebook jail too. It's like, yeah, I did the cut and copy and send out, 50 messages a week and no one answered me. And I could see that they saw it and they didn't respond to me, or they weren't engaging on my Facebook posts. So instead of posting twice a day, I started posting 4 times a day, thinking that was going to be better, right? Can you guys laugh with me a little bit? Did you guys do any of those silly things? Because we just didn't know better, right? So you have to take them on your journey of all the silly things that you did, the struggles, because that's just what we knew. And for a while back then in 2013 and 14, that kind of worked sometimes, but it doesn't work anymore. Stories have always worked through the Stone Ages, Neanderthal, through the 1700s, and even to the yesterdays when we put our kids and our grandbabies to bed and read them a story. Stories have always been there for us, okay? So you then begin to using tip number 4, which is we begin to ramp it up and leaving and bridging to the sunny side of life, as I say. We have to ramp it up and bring them to that higher energy, that higher note for that ideas, bringing forward all that passion, because that's when emotion creates motion, okay? And motion, of course, is activity, is in action. So emotion creates motion. So you're taking their solutions and bringing them the solutions to all your past problems, your past pain points of why we're doing the crazy things that we're doing. Does that make some sense, you guys? Drop a 5 in the comments if this is beginning to make a little bit of sense, okay? Because I'm actually thinking about doing a bigger class on this. Storytelling is so important to me. I remember hiding behind the couch as a baby girl when my mom and dad would have house parties, and I would hide behind the couch, or I would hide in the stairwell, and I didn't want to go to bed because they were telling stories, and stories were super cool because I got to hear all the silly things that my parents did, and they didn't think I heard them, but they also taught me the lessons, right? Stories are lessons, and that opportunity for us to leverage ourselves forward, okay? So back to tip number 4, which is using your problems and using the energy and passion and excitement and ending on that high note to provide the potential solutions to their problems, okay? Because that's helping expand their mind. That's helping them bridge to new imaginations and taking them out of their place and their space of feeling that they're boxed or trapped or confined, or they haven't had the successes that they want to what they really want, where, they're just thinking that some of these things are just pipe dreams, okay? Because everything revolves truly around lifestyle, okay? Not leaving your babies to have to go back to work, that is lifestyle. Not driving through traffic an hour or more to get to your job, that is lifestyle. You being able to have date night with your husband more than once a month, that's lifestyle. Being able to drop your second job or having your husband not sign up for overtime, that is lifestyle. So we just need a little bit, okay? So you have to begin to provide your wins, okay? If they were talking about not knowing how to build their business, if they were talking about not knowing how to build their connections or a larger circle, if they didn't have, even $500 a month, those are triggers where we can, at the end of our story, begin to provide the solutions that this business or opportunity or your product, if it's to do with wellness or, skincare or like different things like this, how you're going to craft those solutions at the end. So you can unlock their mind and their heart, and they can begin to envision themselves in this happier future. So start with the small wins, saying like, hey, I joined a team and they're teaching me how to grow my circle by 3 to 5 people every day. We know that if we don't have a network, your network is your net worth, right? So you have to be building your network all the time. I just wanted to make $250 or $500 a month, and she showed me and she gave me the game plan and gave me a 90-day blueprint, which I do with all my girls, to help them leverage themselves as quickly as possible into income producing activities and getting your stuff paid for and making money. So that is my goal. So how many customers is that going to take? How many sales is that going to take? Which ultimately means how many presentations or connections are they going to have to make per week, okay? Ignite women into action by opening and unlocking their mind into their future of what that's creating, that optimism and that hope, because that is where the change is going to happen, okay? It helps them push away their past fears, their limiting beliefs when they begin to connect with you and your story. So like I said, it's always building that understanding and that rapport of where you originally were in tip number 1, sharing your past, present self, and then building the bridges forward, creating those emotional stories, ending on that high note. And last but not least is that you have to have a little bit of closing to the story. And it's like you can say things like, can you imagine something like that? Or can you imagine the silly things that I did? And if I could do all those silly things and in 2 years move to where I am right now? Or, if anything, if this turned out even half as good as my story, wouldn't that be some success for yourself and your family? Asking those questions that continue to let them evolve their own story, using yours as those stepping stones forward, is very, very powerful, okay? So that's it for tonight. I know I've got a heck of a lot on the go. It is month end, and I've had a whole bunch of women reaching out to me asking for kind of more of the cheat sheet notes of my storytelling, and I can happily share that. If you want my storytelling little breakdown cheat sheet, just say yes please in the comments. I'm happy to share that with you. And if you don't know what the heck social retail is and what I'm training my team for, what I'm providing for them and leveraging them forward for successes, just say social retail in the comments. I'll pop you a 13-minute video. There's no capture page. I'm not going to chase you. I don't have time to chase people, but I do have time to help people. So that's what I do every day. I wake up thinking about how am I going to help people today and who am I going to help today, and maybe it could be you too. So you guys have a fabulous night. If you got some value, share this with your team as always, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the sunny side of life tomorrow. Night, guys.